to Stoke-on-Trent and the world. This is Six Towns Radio. Here's your host, Terry Bossons.
Hello. It's Tuesday afternoon. Welcome to the show. You might have seen the tweets, you might have seen the Facebook. We've got guests in the studio today. It's always nice. I'm usually sitting here on my own every day talking to the world, but today I've got a full studio. First of all, he's a friend of the show. He's been on so many times. Pete Conway. Hello, Pete.
Hello. It's Tuesday. It's normally Friday. I'm going to lose track of days.
Me too. You're with us today. We've got Mel from the Donna Louise. Hello, Mel. You all right over there?
Yes. Hi, Terry. Good to be back.
I know. Not actually being on the show, though. You've been in the studio so many times, but not on my show.
I've not been on your show, so this is a first. Very exciting.
Oh, that is exciting. And also we got Mike Andrew as well. Hello, Mike.
All right.
You all right there?
Yeah, I'm okay, man.
And for the listeners, Mike Andrew is a Robbie Williams tribute, aren't you, mate?
I try.
You try.
I try.
Well, I don't think we're going to get you singing today, but we're going to get you chatting and probably get some questions off the listeners. So, first of all, I want to talk about why you're down here today. And the first reason is, of course, for the Robbie Williams Fanfest. For the people who don't know, I don't know why they don't know, they shouldn't be listening to my show if they don't know that Robbie Williams is 40 next February the 13th.
It only seems like yesterday to me, that was Terry.
I bet it does. But so 40. You obviously remember him when he was my age, 20.
Yes, I do indeed.
20. I'm 20.
And many other ages come to that. Yeah.
But 40. Where's that time gone, Pete?
It's flown. Yeah, thinking back, I was thinking about it. It's quite a when there's a zero on the end, it's a special one, isn't it? Really.
Yeah.
So yeah, I remember it right. So, and I've been thinking about all our yesterdays when he was born and what happened and the things that have happened to him since. And I was with him on his 30th, which was at Skybo Castle in Scotland.
Yeah.
And that only seems like 2 minutes ago. Flying does fast.
It's usually me who gets me words.
Yes, flying fast
Yeah.
so quickly these days.
But well, you remember your 40th like it was yesterday.
No, I don't remember the one last year. My 40th.
You give up, don't you?
Yeah.
But it's a landmark because we've mentioned this before, Mel. That Peter remember going to the Brit Awards when Rob was in his 20s and 30s, and he went back as part of Take That, and he's like the elder statesman now. You know, he's established. You know, it's like when he probably went when he was a kid and Rod Stewart was there, or so it's really nice that he's still in the music business and still going strong. So let's tell people a little bit about the FanFest first of all, because the tickets have gone on sale this week, haven't they?
Yes, they have. Tickets have gone on sale today. What RW Fanfest is, we're very lucky at the Donna Louise Children's Hospice that Robbie is one of our patrons, and we're immensely proud of that. So we thought, actually, you know what, we really should be celebrating his 40th birthday next year. It's a charity very close to his heart, and he does a lot of work for us, very quietly and behind the scenes, things that people don't get to know about really, but it really helps us to raise the profile of what we're doing. So we thought, you know what, this is a really nice way of saying thank you to Robbie, and also to raise a lot of money for the charity at the same time. And all of this was happening, and I got a message into my Facebook inbox from Mike Andrews, and Mike's done a gig for the Donna Louise Children's Hospice a couple of years ago, didn't you, Mike? And there'd been some talk from the fans about Mike doing something to mark Robbie's 40th birthday, and of course Mike said, well, why don't I do it for you guys? So that's kind of what started RW Fanfest, and what it's going to be now is a weekend of celebrations happening right here in Stoke-on-Trent from the 7th to the 9th of February. And there's going to be a lot of different activities going on, including Mike performing at Port Vale on the Saturday the 8th.
That's the place to do it, Mike.
It is. It certainly is.
Yeah. I know you're not a Port Vale fan, though.
I am now.
You are now. Okay. That's the right answer.
You can be talked into it.
Of course.
We're all Port Vale fans, deep down.
You have to be. I'm from birth, that's what I've always supported. It's the club local to me. But yeah, Rob, of course, is a big Port Vale fan. Played at the Vale a couple of times and a couple of testimonials, hasn't he?
Yes, he has, yeah. Neil Aspin rang me last week. There's a blast from the past. He's doing very well. He's managed in Halifax.
Yeah.
And he played when Neil had his testimonial there.
Yeah. I was at that game. I think it was Leicester they played.
Yep, it was indeed.
Yeah.
You're quite right.
See, this brain does work now and again.
Very good.
It's gone over Mel's head this side, you know what I mean? A bit of football.
Mine, yeah.
But you have been dragged down a couple of times to Port Vale, haven't you?
I have been to Port Vale a couple of times. Actually, I've been to the football, and actually they always look after us really, really great there. Pete and I have been down a couple of times, and of course, they really look after Pete, so I get a bit of that as well. But of course, they've always been wonderful supporters of the charity, and so every time we've done anything at games or done collections, the crowd have been really, really supportive, and we're really pleased that we are going to be doing the big birthday bash, as we're calling it, as part of RW Fanfest at Port Vale. And Port Vale are playing at home. They've got Swindon at home that day, so there's going to be lots of match day activities happening around raising money for the charity then as well.
Okay, well, we're going to play a quick song, and then we'll be back to talk a little bit more about this and all yourselves. It's nice to have you down here today.
Great to be here.
I even actually got the kettle on. I'm sorry, Mike.
No, I haven't got a coffee, mate.
Yeah.
There's no coffee for me.
I'll share mine with you,
Yeah.
Mike.
Thank you,
I'll put the kettle back on, but this is the first. I was saying to Pete, Prince Charles was down the street early on the year, and he didn't even get offered a brew. I don't make him. I'm one of them people who gets brews made for him. I'm lucky enough.
Six Towns Radio.
That is beautiful. That is Tom O'Dell, and I know on Six Towns Radio. So we got all the guests in. Let me put all the mics back up. We got Pete, Mel, and Mike in the studio today. We're talking a little bit about the Robbie Fanfest that's happening next year. Mel, you've said some of the events that we've got. Can we go into a bit more detail for people who might want to go down? What is sort of planned out so far?
Right, well, we've spoken a little bit about the Big Birthday Bash, which is happening on the 8th of February at Port Vale Football Club, and that's featuring number one Robbie tribute act, Mike. He's sitting here with me. And
he is good.
He is very good.
Yeah.
He is very good. Actually, I'll tell you how good he is. Mike sent me, a couple of weeks ago, a clip on Mixcloud, is it called?
SoundCloud, that's it.
See,
similar.
It's close. SoundCloud of him singing "Go Gentle," and I played it to Pete, and Pete didn't realise it wasn't Robbie until I think there was just one little word which the accent was slightly different.
There is just one word, and I thought it was Rob.
One or two, not one or two.
No,
one or two.
One
or
particular
two
word. Yes.
Yeah, it was the word one or two, because I sing one or two, not one or two, because my accent's a bit strange.
I've yet to do that on stage. Where
do you know? Oh, you would not believe it.
Because you'll get people from Stoke saying, "Oh, you don't say it like that."
No. What I normally get is, I can't believe how much you talk like Robbie Williams, and I'm like, I'm Welsh. I don't sound like him at all. And then somebody else will say, "You sound nothing like a Manc," and I'm like, so I have to sit there and educate them then that he's not actually from Manchester. Yeah. So that's a strange one. I know.
You do sound a little bit like him. Obviously the accent's there, and obviously I'm Stoke born and bred, so I know the difference. But yeah, you do sound a little bit like him.
It's probably a tone, isn't it? I think that's what it is. Yeah. It's not obviously accent, because I don't. I'm Welsh. I sound like I'm from up there.
Tell us a little bit about yourself then, Mike. How long have you been the number one Robbie Williams tribute? Don't look at that one. You've got another one up there. That's the number one Robbie tribute. You're the Robbie Williams tribute.
Oh, right. Okay. I've been, I think it's about 8 years now. Yeah, about 8 years. I'd been a singer for what seemed like forever before then anyway, doing the cabaret circuit and all that. And I just stumbled across it by accident, to be honest with you. I didn't just wake up one day and say, I'm going to be a Robbie Williams tribute. People were coming to see me in clubs and saying, "Oh, you look a little bit like Robbie." But I didn't do any Robbie Williams songs. I was more of singing like the Tom Jonesy kind of stuff.
Being Welsh as well, yeah.
Obviously, that kind of thing. And so then I just decided to get a few Robbie backing tracks and had a go. And my wife said to me, she said, "Are you trying to sound like him?" And I said, "No." And she said, "Well, you've really got to try and do this, because you do sound a bit like him." And he was a bit spooky. So that's how it happened. It's
quite surreal for Pete to sit here in the same studio.
Yeah, a friend of mine, who's a friend of Mike's, said, I've got a mate who lives near to me, and he sounds very much like, I couldn't believe it. I took the tape over to Rob when I went to LA. And I said, because Mike's, I think, there's a lot of look-alike. He's very good actor. We mentioned another one. But the actual sound-alike is Mike. And he's the closest I've heard to Robin. It's not easy to do. I've got mates in the end, you know very well, Spencer Robson, who is... do you know Spence? No, Mike. Mike knew him. No, Spence, you'd love him. He's a great impersonator.
Oh, right.
Great singer impersonator. but he can't do Rob. He's had a go. He's had a go, and he does, and like he does everybody.
Right.
But he can't do Rob.
Well, see, the thing is, it's sorry.
You carry on.
You see, the thing is, it's strange because if there's any sound that's it's totally I don't try. That's me, and I tell a little story. The other night I tried recording Swing Supreme in my voice, in a different voice, and I got so frustrated. Delete. I just, every time I played it back, I thought, oh no. Now I can hear it myself. I thought, you've lost your own voice, but it's my own. It's how I sound.
That's amazing, because you do sound very much like him. In fact, when Mel was playing me Go Gentle, I thought it was Rob until that one word came about. And then I said, that's Mike, and then I said,
You're on about people who can take people on and impression and stuff. I spoke to a guy who was fantastic. He listened to somebody and he could take anyone on. He tried my accent and he struggled. He said I could do any accent worldwide, but the Stoke accent,
it's the hardest.
I tell you, it is difficult, because what people tend to do is overemphasise the vowels.
Yes, yeah.
And it just stands out as it doesn't sound anything like.
It goes a bit Scouse, doesn't it?
It's almost when you get mistaken for, when people say where you come from, invariably it will be Scouse, yes. And the real Stoke accent, Wayne Walker, if I can mention about another particular, I mean, Wayne has got this very Stokey thing, and Rob did a thing. He was doing an interview in Manchester a couple of weeks back, and they played the Wayne Walker jingle from Signal Radio, and Wayne's talking on it, and she tried to talk like Wayne Walker, who's very Stokey.
Yeah.
And Rob said, you get it all wrong, and it's somewhere between Birmingham and Manx, and it's not quite either. And it is a difficult one to copy.
When you get to Stafford, it goes a bit more Brummy, doesn't it?
Almost, just south of there.
Yeah.
Just south. It's a little bit south of Stafford.
Yeah, Stafford is much softer. Stafford people sound like me. No, they don't really. No, they don't really. I try to do the Stoke accent. I've been here 6 years.
I like your accent.
I can't do it. Yeah. I can't do it. A up me ducks is the closest I can get.
That's very good, that was.
Yeah,
do you know what I do? I can say Luke. A Luke above. That's it. A Luke above.
Luke above.
Yeah. That's it. That's the only.
They're the ones. They're the ones. Yeah. And the big one for Stoke is Sooty, not Sooty.
Sooty.
The puppet. It's called Sooty.
Puppet.
Really?
Puppet. Sooty. Sooty the puppet.
You know,
now to me that's Sooty the puppet.
I know.
Yeah.
And you're wrong.
It's a very, very distinct accent, and actually I find myself now, I'm listening out for it when I'm out and about somewhere, when I'm outside of Stoke, and when you're abroad on holiday, you can hear it. You just ping. You can say,
Stokey. Not off, you can. We've been in places, haven't we? People have been sitting around, and we've been away abroad. We said, Stokey's over there.
Straight away. Well, I was in Worcester filming something last year, and I was just talking to my partner, and she said, somebody's staring at you over there. And this guy came over and says, are you from Stoke? I used to live in Stoke. Just because I was having a quick chat.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, bang,
I remember Rob being in the recording booth, and he got a guy with him, and he was singing, what was that song? Mix It On a Thursday, song on a Friday.
Yeah.
It's a love.
Come Undone, yeah?
Come Undone, which we Come Undone. And he was in the booth with the cans on, and he was singing into the microphone. And he said, is it Mix It On a Thursday, Side on a Friday?
Yeah.
By
do you know what, right? I can't remember.
Out of context. But
we'll play it next.
Sell it on a Thursday, mix it on a Friday. By Saturday. It's a love song. A love song.
Yeah.
And Guy said, you said Saturday.
Saturday.
He said, that's because it's Saturday. Yeah. He said, but it's Saturday. He says, no, I'm from Stoke, it's Saturday.
It's a wonderful thing. You probably won't know this, but we do quite a lot of things on the accent when Pete comes down.
Oh, right.
And we've picked up words.
All sorts of
things that people say in Stoke, like Nesh.
You
wouldn't even know what that meant. But
well, Mum says Nesh. Cold. Her mum says that.
You got to feel a bit Nesh this morning.
So we have a whole show about things like that.
Yeah, we do. Wow. We have old words that have been forgotten.
Because we don't want to be forgotten. See, we like old words, aren't we, mate?
Yeah.
We're back to the fan fest anyway.
Yes.
We digress.
Where were we?
Oh, do we have to? This is more interesting.
So, as I was saying,
we get so much in, Mike. We get so much in.
Yeah. Well, Mike is really brilliant, and he sounds exactly like Rob. And so he's going to be playing Port Vale Football Club on the 8th of February. and the tickets are on sale at the moment, and you can get there probably through Six Towns Radio website, if I'm right, or bob onto the Donna Louise Children's Hospice website, and there's all information on how you can get your tickets. They're just £15 for a standard ticket, or £25 if you actually want to get to meet and greet. The lovely Mike. But that's just one of a number of events that's taking place over that weekend.
Yes.
There's also a fantastic art exhibition called I've Been Expecting You. See what I did there? See?
I like it, because you were trying to think of a name for it, weren't you?
We were, and
that's
actually
a brilliant one.
We did a bit of a vote, didn't we, amongst some of the people that are helping to organise it. So I've Been Expecting You is actually an exhibition of about 40 original paintings by a fan called Gabby, and she exhibited these paintings in Milan when Rob was touring with Take the Crown last summer. And so that exhibition is being shipped over here to the Burslem School of Art, and the lovely people at the School of Art are going to curate that and put that exhibition on, and I believe that that's going to be opening on around about the 29th of January, and it's going to run through the whole of February. And we are welcoming people to come and have a look at that exhibition throughout the whole month of February. Come and have a look, and hopefully you'll make a donation as well to the charity.
Yes, yeah.
I was going to call it Rude Paint Box exhibition.
That was Pete's suggestion. Rude Paint Box.
I saw a couple of good ones, but that was a good one. But I've Been Expecting You. There was a few that were out there. Yeah.
And the paintings are really, really good.
Oh, they're incredible, aren't they?
Absolutely brilliant.
Amazing.
Somebody else said lie through a lens, didn't they, as well? But it's obviously not through a lens. It's a camera, that is. So that doesn't work as well.
Yeah.
But I like that. That's good. But we are media partners for this. And why wouldn't we be? It's something that we're going to be full on, because it fits quite nicely, because I don't know if I could say this on air, but FM trial is going to be at that time as well. So we're going to go out to a bigger market. But you're the same as us. You want people from the world to get involved. We want people who've probably never been to Burslem to come, and that's what we get on Six Towns Radio. I've said to Pete before, we get people when Pete's in as a guest from all over the place. Who perhaps lived here before, or just our Robbie fans, and it's a great way to connect.
Yeah, RW Fanfest, for us, we see it as a great opportunity to engage with everybody in Burslem, but also in Stoke-on-Trent as well, just to all come together and hopefully do something to raise money for the charity, but also to say, happy birthday, Rob. Really proud that he's from these parts. But you talk about people from all over the world. Now, we're a local charity, so we mainly fundraise in Staffordshire and South Cheshire. But over the years, I think it's over the last 4 years, the Robbie Williams fans have raised over £9,000 for the charity, and majority of them don't even live in the UK. Yeah. So there's a lot of love for the charity that Rob supports outside of Stoke-on-Trent and outside of the UK, and RW Fanfest is really showing that. We've got fans, we've just had confirmation of one of the fans from Italy who's just booked her tickets to see Mike's gig, and she's booked her flight and she's coming over from Italy. And another girl from South Africa.
Yeah, South Africa.
I had nothing to do with that. I do not know her.
There's no pressure, is there? There's never any pressure, is
it? Yeah. So you've got an international audience.
Wow.
Amazing.
And they're all coming to Stoke-on-Trent, and we're going to make them feel so welcome, because that's what the people of Stoke-on-Trent are so good at.
We'll be all right.
Somebody brought me some oat cakes. I'd done a photo shoot for somebody recently to promote their, and fair play, them shoes, she's done a very good. And she said, how much you want paying for this? And I said, bring some oat cakes.
So you're saying it wrong. It's not oat cakes. Oat cakes.
Was it?
You don't pronounce the T as much.
Oat cakes.
Oat cakes.
Oat cakes.
Right. Okay. Oat cakes.
Oat cakes.
Why does it sound like
the T's not really.
Why does it sound
like gunfight at the OK Corral.
Oat cakes.
Oat cakes.
Oat cakes.
It sounds like Rude Box now to me. Oat cakes.
I don't care how you pronounce it, but they are brilliant.
Love it.
Right, we're going to play Come Undone. We're going to talk a bit more about the charities. A few questions I want to ask, and also about the Palladium gig. Of course, we've got to mention that. Big stuff. So we'll play Come Undone, and you'll be able to find that lyric you were after. What a song! Let's talk about the Palladium gig. It was live a couple of weeks ago, and it was on TV last week.
It was live a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago.
Yeah, a month ago. It was a month to the night. It was on Friday night. Yeah, it was good fun. If you saw it, it was Variety was back in town again, and you don't see it on the telly There's no variety places anymore. I thought, having watched it at the Palladium and been involved in it, and then watching it again on Friday night, it would have been a good one to do for Christmas if they'd have made it a Christmassy type one and put some tinsel and Christmas trees around it, because there was kids involved with. He did High Hopes with a bunch of kids, and it could have been made into a really good Christmas night. You don't get it. There's no Morecambe and Wise anymore, is there? Nope. There's no Andy Williams Christmas show. There's no Christmas shows as such. That we used to do. I think Ant and Dec do one, which is rather good, and it is good. But there's no proper variety as we knew it, theatre variety, and that's exactly what he does.
It's terrible. If you look on the schedules now for Christmas Day, there's usually a film on, and then there's a Christmas special or something. And a lot of these Christmas specials, they rehash them so much, they're just so diluted, they're not even worth watching.
There's no variety acts anymore, because variety doesn't happen anymore, you know. And people have never. I mean, there's a whole group of people growing up now that have never seen it. They don't even know what it is, you know.
Yeah, well, you look at it. You've said it. There's a whole group of people growing up now, and everything changes. But you. It does. It does. And they're so used to how it is now, and it's a shame that it isn't on the TV. And
I know the variety. The Royal Variety Show was on. That's probably
that was a big landmark thing. That was on a Sunday night live.
It was.
And now
indeed.
They put it on a Monday night.
Monday is I didn't
even know it was on.
No, it just goes by quietly, and that was a great big thing many years ago. And to be invited onto the Royal Variety Show was a big accolade in your career as well as an entertainer.
Yeah, it's nice to see the Shadows on there. What are they called? The guys that won Britain's Got Talent. Attraction.
Totally lost me. And I was thinking Hank Marvin wasn't on. And I was like,
what was he doing there last night?
They're very, very good.
But the Palladium, my little bit for that was I've never been in the building before. Mm-hmm. I've gone past it and looked up at the place in awe and thought, that is the Palladium.
But you thought, I'm never going to play there.
Certainly not.
No.
I'm retired as well.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know this. People think you're a singer, don't they?
Yes.
And you were a comedian.
Not at all. Not by any means. Yeah. I did an hour on stage before singers came on. Yeah. That's what I did. They let me loose with an audience.
Did you ever just crack a song out?
Yes, to get off stage. Oh yeah, all comedians at the end, when you finish, and having said that, I work many cabaret clubs where there's no, but there might be comedy places. Most cabaret clubs in my day had a band. Yeah. So the band used to play me on, and then go for a drink down the pub, and then leave me there for 3/4 of an hour, and then come back again. And I used to do a song to get off, which every comic did. So yeah, I sang a bit, but I mean, Matt Monro was coming on next, so I left singing to him, or Tony Bennett, or Jack Jones, or whoever I was working with.
Did you work with Matt Monro? Did you?
Oh, I toured with him, Mike.
Really?
Yeah.
We had his daughter on the show, didn't we?
Man.
Yes, I'm in his book.
Yeah, what a voice! What a voice!
Oh, I'm glad you like him, because he was on top of being the best singer that we had of his generation, of his sort of singing. He was the best that we had. On top of that, he was a good lad. He was just good fun to be with. I have a tremendous affection for Matt Monro. Yeah, because we used to drink a lot together.
Well, him and Andy Williams are probably the big two standout.
They were, and Frank liked Matt. And you got messages from Frank Sinatra to say, I mean, what a tremendous accolade
exactly.
From a lad from London, and he was just a smash. I talk about him a lot. Mm-hmm. Whenever I do a radio show, I did the one on the BBC, which is on 21st of December, which I just recorded with Rob on the BBC 2. And they asked me to have just one record that I would pick to have. Well, I always pick. We always have a Matt Monro here at 6 Sounds Radio. And I picked a Matt Monro for that one as well. I always do.
Yeah, one of the first times Pete came down, we had his daughter on the show on the phone, didn't we?
Michelle
Monro.
We did, yeah. Wow. And yes, and he's just. I can talk about him forever because he was such a pleasure to be with. Yeah. And every time I hear him sing, so many things happen to me in my life with him.
Well, you see, when you listen to early Michael Bublé stuff,
yes,
I listen to Michael Bublé and some of his stuff. I actually hear Andy Williams in his voice.
And yes, there is.
You know, I hear that.
Yes.
Especially he done a version of Elvis. You know, Can't Help Falling in Love. I don't know if you've heard Michael Bublé doing that.
No, really.
Seriously, you listen to that. You hear Andy Williams. You hear Matt Monro. You hear and the man was so talented.
Andy was great. You know, I always used to listen to. I mean, as a comic who can sing a bit. Mm-hmm. That's how I see myself, and I do enjoy singing. And even more so now, it's easier than being a comic.
Yeah, so a lot of people get that preconception thinking you're singing. But
well, do you know how that happened? Go on. Like, I earn my living and pay my mortgage by being a stand-up comic and doing the clubs and doing variety and doing theatres and doing what have you with all the sorts of people. Then I did Rob's Christmas thing about 13 years ago, one night only, and I sang That's Life with Rob. And then my phone started ringing, and I'm doing television shows singing. I suddenly became a singer overnight, and I was a comic up to that point. And then overnight, we saw you singing with
who's
Rob.
laughing now?
Yeah, I know. And I got, this morning, Richard and Judy were on, and they put a band in the studio, and I'll come down and sing things. That happened a lot. Then I did Night Fever with Suggs.
Yeah.
And they had a thing on that called Robbie's Dad Sings to the Nation thing at the slot.
I remember it, yeah.
I did 2 series of that. And suddenly, overnight, from being a comic all my life, I won new faces doing comedy, stand-up. Yeah. And then everybody forgot about it. And I don't care. I'm quite happy with that. I don't want to do it anymore. I'm retired anyway now. Yeah. Well, I'm doing that. I'm out again next year.
The Palladium, you walks out and what?
Oh, I haven't told you about how I came to be there. I was actually going down to see the show with Mel. We were going down on the Friday. And on the Thursday night, I'm out in the Leopard, which everybody knows, which we're not too far away from here, with a mate of mine. And the phone rang at 10:30, and Rob says, do nothing till you hear from me? And I said, I do, I've never sang it. He said, do you fancy doing it in the second half of the show tomorrow night? And I went, pardon? Right. He said, bring your dicky bow. I said, okay. He said, get it learned tonight. I said, okay, right. So he said there'll be a rehearsal. Well, there wasn't. So we just had a run through.
Sounds about right.
Yeah, no, we just walked through the dress rehearsal before the show. Then the first time we did it properly, I mean, he's had a fortnight doing all those other things. We just, I walked on and thought, well, I'm at the Palladium. Never been in the building before. And I've got the #1 dressing room.
Did you?
Yeah, it's #1. Well, he had it, and so I joined him.
Did you kick him out?
So being as he had it, I always get. So I got #1 dressing room.
Robbie Williams on the door, he put underneath with Mark and Dad.
Yes.
Robbie
Williams' dad. #1 dressing room at the Palladium. And so it was it was a fabulous night.
Yeah.
The DVD's out, by the way, if anybody's interested. Get the plug in, thank you so much.
To get commission.
Yeah, because the show was an hour and 3/4, and there's only just under an hour of things going on the television show. So there's 5 songs and bits and pieces in the DVD that weren't on the telly.
What I love about Pete is when I found out he was going to be on TV, I texted him about it. Yeah. And he goes, "Oh, they'll cut me out." I mean, straight away.
Do you know what? I was so impressed. Yes. Really impressed that they kept you, and I thought that was awesome.
And at the end as well.
Yeah. Well, I tell you what, I thought, first of all, I wasn't due to be there until the night before. All the other people are contracted and they know what they're doing, and suddenly I popped up. And I said to Mel on the way down, I said, the chances of me being on the televised bit will be minimal. But it'll be on the DVD, so we'll have it for the rest of our lives, and so that's something.
It looked like you were headlining.
Yeah.
Well, I got 38 text messages on the night time, and a lot more on the Saturday. And a mate of mine texted me and he said, "You said you were going to be on, but you didn't say you were top of the bill."
In all fairness,
can you just tell me what's Miss Piggy really like?
Miss Piggy. Now there's a thing.
Now there's a star.
That's another show. That's a show all in itself. Right? Yeah.
It's fascinating watching the Muppet people work the Muppets for how they work the situation. Very, very good. Well, good scripts as well. And when you think of all the people that have worked with them, they're all superstars.
Well, it's Disney as well. That's what I was impressed with. I thought they were going to be on the album. It's Disney. So that could take Rob to a whole new audience.
Thing completely.
The American audience, perhaps.
Mrs. Piggy.
Mrs. Piggy. She hasn't married yet.
To give her a full title. She's a diva. And she's looked after by a lady that looks after her completely, so you don't get to say much to her. She's like... she gets whisked off. Very strange.
But yeah, it was on TV last week, and like I say, the DVD's out.
Yes, it is. And it's very good. Naturally, I got one yesterday, and I watched the whole thing again. Just nice to relive it. And there's other little bits and pieces about the build-up to it and the rehearsal time that they had. I emphasise that they. Thank you.
Well, he did it. He nailed it. You know, he did nail it.
I wouldn't have it any other way. It's fab.
I expect to see a close-up of Mel maybe on the TV. You know what I mean?
I think you can just see me in the background.
Yeah.
Here's a little tip to anybody who's going to a Robbie gig next year, going to Swings Both Ways and wants to be seen in the crowd. Wear something white and sparkly.
Wear white and sparkly.
So that's all I'm saying. If you get the DVD of Rob's Palladium show, have a look for something white and sparkly.
The one that's white and sparkly stands out on the balcony.
Like an angel, I was.
Oh, beautiful. It's a great story. We're going to cut to an ad break, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the FanFest and other things. You know what I mean? I've sort of said people can send them a question in if they want to, so we'll reiterate that. I've put it out on Twitter. If you want to send a question in very quickly, studio@sixtowns.co.uk.
Six Towns Radio.
A bit of Bublé there. All I Want for Christmas. I haven't decided what I want for Christmas yet. Pete, we had Pete down last year. It's funny because we're not big Christmas fans, are we?
No.
Really? That's a
Humbug, you two. Humbug.
We've discussed it many times, haven't we?
But it's not that we don't like Christmas.
No.
It's just you don't get into it as much as most people. But yeah, I think it's definitely for kids, and because that, you know, now I've got another one on the way.
Yes.
It is a kids thing, but
it's not for kids. No,
my
wife's over there and she's going, no.
You know what it is with me and Pete? We've both sort of worked in working men's clubs and everything.
We've worked all the time.
Me as well. That's what it is. Yeah,
Yes.
but you get it's not going to be the same for you. You know, you get people coming up and minding you as much as probably me and Pete. You know what I mean? Drunken Christmas people.
No, I used to do all the cabaret circuit as well.
Yes,
I remember Christmas Eve, Badley Green on Christmas Eve. Oh, what a great night!
Yeah.
Hey, and they used to give us butties and things, you know, and it was great.
Yeah,
but for me, it was just extra work over Christmas on top of everything else. I do firmly, and you're quite right. I do think it's a children's thing.
Yeah,
I always have done.
Bar humbug.
Well,
you get them black Christmas hats that you see in the supermarket with humbug.
Yeah, that'll suit you.
But I did try. I dressed up as Santa the year before last. I dressed up as an elf last year, trying to get into spirit. I bought a Christmas.
You were going to say Elvis then when you said elf. I thought you were going to say Elvis.
You know what, Terry? You've just made me think about something. You said you've dressed up as Santa before, right? Can I put a little shout out, please?
You can go for it.
Right, the Donna Louise Children's Hospice. At the moment, we are helping Santa to be in the Roebuck Shopping Centre in Newcastle. Unfortunately, he's got to go off and do something else for a couple of days. So if anybody wants to fill in as Santa's, as little Santa's protege, please call the hospice. We really could do with your help.
I reckon one of our presenters would be great at
Well,
this.
I'm thinking Terry might be a good Santa.
I haven't got 5 minutes to spare. I really would. I'd love to just give it a day up for that.
Pete would be awesome.
What about me and Pete?
Santa double act. But yeah, if there are any Santas out there listening, Donna Louise Children's Hospice could do with your help, please. Give us a call.
That was the next thing we were going to talk about, was the Donna Louise. How long have you been a part of the Donna Louise?
Wow. It feels like forever, actually, in a good way. But I think it's 6 years. 6 years now I've been there.
Yeah, and of course, it's a charity that, you know, it takes a lot of money to run every year, doesn't it?
It does, yes. We need to raise $2.5 million every year to keep our doors open. Yeah.
And in the 6 years you've been there, I wanted to ask, does it get easier to fundraise?
No.
Or harder?
It's always difficult to fundraise. I think anybody who's ever done a fundraising event for our charity or any other charity will be able to agree with me on this. It is not easy. But I tell you what, when people are so generous and people are so happy to do things for the charity, it kind of gives you that little boost that you need just to keep going. And I know that my entire fundraising team will agree with me that, you know, it is hard and sometimes it is very difficult to ask people to give you some money or to put their hands in their own pockets or to put on an event for you. But actually, it's the people that always say yes and are always very generous and always willing to help and do whatever they possibly can, big or small. it's those kind of things that just keep spurring us on and keep us going, really.
Yeah, I'd say does it get easier, because obviously the more people know about it, but it's a lot of money to raise every year. It's a lot of money.
Yeah, it is a lot of money, and it's an expensive service to run. We're looking after nearly 200 children and their families, and our hospice is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, every single day of the year. And we've got to make sure that we can keep that funding up, because we can't afford to close our doors. Yeah. We sadly had to do that a couple of years ago. Listeners will remember at the start of 2010, when things were getting really difficult, the recession was hitting, lots of job losses around the city. And we just didn't have enough savings to make sure that we could safeguard the service. So we had to close 2 days a week, and that was heartbreaking. Yeah. It was really, really difficult to do. But again, people rallied around us, and people were generous, businesses, local groups, companies, individuals, everybody got together and made sure that we could put enough money aside so that we could open 24/7. And, I'm really pleased to say it's been 2 years now, and we've managed to keep our doors open for that long. But 2.5 million, it's a big mountain to climb every year.
Well, the first Oatcake Day and other events I've done since, we've done things with Donna Louise. That's how I got to know you, probably, initially.
That's right, yeah. Oatcakes, you see.
Yeah,
common thread here.
It's there.
It's the oatcake again.
I do encourage anyone who's got a bit of spare time to just do something to raise money for you, because everyone who comes in here who does fundraise for, like Lisa Lawton, for instance, and people like that, and I've been up to the hospice so many times. It's a brilliant, brilliant feel about the place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The staff and everything. It's such a lovely place to be. And for those people, raise some money, definitely.
Of course, and it's coming up to Christmas now, and the hospice is absolutely beautiful. We had about 40 volunteers a couple of weeks ago coming over in the evening, decorating the whole house, and every single room is decorated with Christmas trees and lights and gifts, and it really is a very special place. But we wouldn't be there if it wasn't for the generosity of local people, putting their hands in their pockets, doing fundraising events for us. We are eternally grateful for anybody who's ever done anything for us, but at the same time we kind of want to say, don't forget about us. I know it's difficult now, Christmas, everybody's doing their Christmas shopping and thinking about entertaining friends and family on Christmas Day, but kind of don't forget about us. And it doesn't mean that you have to give us a huge amount of money. That would be great if you could, but every little penny helps. We also have 4 charity shops as well. So anything, if you're doing a spring clean now before Christmas, or if you get any gifts like from Auntie Marge that you don't really want, smile nicely, say thank you to Auntie Marge, and then take it down to our shop in the new year, and we'll pass that on, and we'll make sure we raise some money out of it.
You've opened a new shop, have you, in Leek? Is it? That's the latest
Yes,
one?
we've got another big shop opening in Leek. We're not open yet. We're hoping to open around about the 18th of December. So make sure you just keep watching the local press for news on that. Just over a year ago, we opened our first big store called Your Shop, which is in Lonsdale Road in Stoke, and that's been
was there that
brilliant.
Day. I was there.
You were there, Terry. It was absolutely brilliant, and it's just been a runaway success. So we're opening another Your Shop in Leek in December.
Yeah, it's a thing that some people just don't go to charity shops. They just don't go to them, you know what I mean? But I've been to there, and there's so much stuff in there, and new stuff as well.
Absolutely.
It's some people just like buy a sofa and have it a week and give it to you, it seems, because there's a lot of new stuff in there.
Yeah, the big stores, the Your Shop stores, we take furniture and electrical items as well, and those just fly out the store. They do really, really well. And of course, we come and we deliver, and we also collect. So if you've got an old sofa or a wardrobe or anything like that you want to donate, you can give the shop a call. The details are all on our website, and we'll come and we'll collect it for you free of charge. So you don't have to worry about how you're going to dispose of your old sofa before DFS and other brands are available. Come and drop off your sofa, because we'll get rid of it for you. But
I've heard their sale ends Boxing Day as well.
We're always having a sale. We're constantly on sale. But, you talk about shopping in charity shops. I'm a great fan of shopping in charity shops. And the number of kind of charity events that I've got to attend in the line of work that I'm in, and of course most of those are in Stoke-on-Trent, and you're seeing kind of the same people all the time, and all those women out there will know exactly what I'm talking about. You have to have a different frock for each event, and I'd love to be able to afford to get a new one every time from Debenhams or or wherever. But charity shops are brilliant, absolutely brilliant for evening gowns.
Pete will tell you, he goes in there getting records.
I get my CDs from charity shops. Yeah. If you're going to see into charity shops, there's always some jazz or things in that you probably won't find in HMV. So I can't pass one without going to look and see what there is. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, can people volunteer for you?
Absolutely. We could not survive without volunteers. That's both at our shops but also in the hospice as well. So our reception is manned entirely by volunteers. We have volunteers that work in our kitchens, on the domestic team, and also in fundraising. You know, you think every time we want to do a store collection, for instance, at a supermarket, we need about 40 volunteers on a day. So we are always looking for volunteers to help us out.
Have you got like... say if somebody got in contact and they wanted to do a fundraiser, have you got some ideas for them? Do you actually do things like that?
Of course,
want to do something but don't know what?
Yeah. I mean, a lot of the time we actually find that people already have brilliant ideas and we're just kind of there to support them and, you know, give them some buckets and some resources and some moral support as well. But of course, if you're looking for fundraising ideas, absolutely get in touch with us. We've got a team of fundraisers who have done nearly every kind of event under the sun that you could imagine, or have supported others to do it. So, you know, if you're stuck for ideas, don't worry, still get in touch and we can, I'm sure together we'll come up with something. Yeah,
you've got Robbie, of course, as the patron, and you've also got people like Jonathan Welch, Rachel Shenton. What are they classed as? They're not patrons, are they?
No, they're celebrity champions. Yes, you're right, we've got 6 celebrity champions. Rachel Shenton, you've mentioned.
Seven.
What
do I have to do? What do I have to do to get to that 7th place?
Terry, this is hot off the presses.
I'm the guy who did Oatcake Day. I'll be known as that forever. I'm sure that'll be enough probably when I pass away, but not until then.
You know what? All of our supporters are important to us, and all of our supporters are like celebrities. But we've got a couple that are kind of in the limelight and who support us, like Rachel Shenton from Hollyoaks fame, and of course our lovely Johnny, who's on at the Panto at the moment.
And Lord Stafford, may I just mention?
Our other patron is Lord Stafford. Let's not forget Lord Stafford. And of course Phil the Power Taylor. I've lost count how many times he's won now, the world champs, probably about 17, something like that. He's a great supporter of ours. And
he's a bit of a lookalike as well, isn't he? A Peter Kay lookalike.
That was a great story.
Believe it or not,
told me that story.
He once got mistaken for Peter Kay, didn't he, at the service station?
That was a great story. We were on the M6, coming up the M6, and we stopped off for a coffee, and this woman from behind the counter came over to him and said, "Will you do me an autograph?" And Phil said, "Yes, I'd love to." And she said, "Oh, you do make me laugh, you do." And I looked at her, and Phil looked at her. He said, "Make her laugh." He said, "Yeah." He said, "You're Peter Kay, aren't you?" And he said, "No, I'm Phil Taylor." She said, "Oh, yes, of course, you're the darts one." "Well, he can sign it anyway, thank you."
You can sign it anyway. You know what I mean?
Brilliant.
You'll do.
Yeah, and she knew his face, but you couldn't think where from. You're Peter Kay, aren't you? Oh, it was funny, that was.
Yeah.
Of course, we mustn't forget the star of the long throw, Rory Delap. Even though he's not at Stoke City, he and his wife Helen continue to support the hospice with events and other things, and still come to visit the children. And of course, Nick Hancock. I mean, you know, he is
long-standing. Nick.
He is. Nick is brilliant.
I spoke to all these people about it, and what they say about the Donna Louise is just amazing.
Yeah,
it really does help, doesn't it?
It does. It really does help to raise our profile. And then every now and then, one of them does a charity fundraiser for us, like Joe Brand. We had one night of Joe Brand earlier on this year at the Victoria Hall, which was fantastic. We raised £20,000. She donated all of her time free of charge, and it was fantastic. So really important to have the support of celebrities.
Tony Pure as well.
Yeah,
of course. TP, isn't he doing well at Crystal Palace?
Yeah, he's turned that
Tell
round.
you what, two wins in a row.
No, that's a very sore subject. Crystal Palace at the moment. If you know who they beat on Saturday.
Yes, they
was
did.
Was it Cardiff by any chance?
Yes.
He's never been relegated, has he? So
he's done really well since he's gone there.
He's amazing. Yeah, he's a great lad as well.
Yeah. And I tell you what, he's really fit and strong. I mean, he's run the London Marathon for us. I climbed Kilimanjaro with him, and he was incredible climbing Kilimanjaro. You know, he's just no worries. You know, most of us were kind of dropping like flies, but he was fine. And then we did the bike ride last summer as well, non-stop Land's End to John O'Groats, or probably the other way around. I think it was actually
the other way around. Yeah.
But yeah, you know,
came down bank.
Yeah, it's still the same distance.
It was downhill.
Yeah. Downhill.
Yeah, I'm sure it was downhill.
This is why I try and raise money by singing.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Do what you do best.
Yeah. Mine's eating oatcakes. I think that's why I'd raise money for it.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one, I think.
I'd love to be able to raise money by eating oatcakes. That would be amazing.
We could do it. We could have a sponsor.
No, I'm on a diet at the moment.
What about the world's largest oatcake? I bet you there's no record in the Guinness World Records for the world's largest oatcake.
What I'm trying to do next year, Mel, I want trademark Oatcake Day, because a lot of people are using it and making money out of it. When the whole idea was to make money for charities, etc., and good fundraising things. So yeah, I'm gonna get it as a trademark. I also want to get it as a regional delicacy, because it's known as one, but I think there's some legislation you have to go through to get it recognised as a Staffordshire oatcake, because Derby lay claim to them, and a few other places said, like, you know, we come up with the oatcake first. So that's something else I'm trying to get. But yeah, an actual large oatcake, that would be brilliant as a fundraiser, and also as something we could do. I could do that.
There we go. There's your challenge,
The only
Terry.
problem is it's just how to cook it. Because
you need a great big flat plate to do it on. That's the problem.
But I've made oatcakes in a frying pan. It's not the same.
No.
It's not the same, but it's maintaining the heat, see. It has to be a certain heat.
It has to be a big thing to put it on. To
Well,
make
I'm
it
sure we've got some talented artisans in the city that could make a really giant oatcake making platey thing, whatever you call it.
All we could do is, you know, like somewhere with a metal roof. It's just keep the roof, slide it on the top.
Yeah, interesting.
That could work.
Send your ideas.
Man gets arrested and fired at a local garage.
Yeah. Good luck with that, Terry.
I'm just trying to think how we're going to do it. How are we going to do it? Yeah. Answers on a postcard. I got an ad break, and I'm going to let you, Mel, pick a Robbie song from Swings Both Ways. If that's okay.
Like right now?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Right now?
No, I'll play the ad break. You can pick while the ad break's on if you want.
Brilliant.
Or have you got one in mind?
I've got one in mind, actually.
Okay. All right, well, we'll find out what that is after the ads.
Six Towns Radio.
Mel just said something to me then, off air, and that song was written for swing. It really was, wasn't it? You know, you listen to the original, it's quite upbeat, and you know, it was of that when he was doing the upbeat songs in the early 2000s.
Can't remember the original now. Once you've heard that a couple of times,
you get lost in it, don't you?
You do. Yeah. That's super.
That's one. If you're not clicking your fingers to that way, listen to that. I just felt like putting my slippers on.
Yeah,
I know. Well, it's like sort of 2 a.m. at Ronnie Scott's when you've had that third bottle of champagne. That's what it sounds like to me.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine that.
No, I just made that up.
Sounds like a good night. When was
Let's go.
Yeah.
Tomorrow we'll go.
Let's book it in. Let's talk a little bit to Mike. He's been sitting there very quiet, and there's a mic in front of him. I'm sure he's not used to that quiet in front of Mike, is he? No.
I'm never this quiet.
Let's talk about you and Robbie Williams, right? You've been doing this show, and obviously he keeps making music. You have to learn new songs, which is great, isn't it?
Yes, yeah.
So
it's good. There's new songs to learn because doing the same ones week after week after week after week. It's it's nice to have some new ones.
If you'd gone down the Tom Jones route, you would have been stuck, wouldn't you, with them songs?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I wouldn't have been doing that. Oh, they sang that last week when I went over there. Yeah.
So when you heard he was doing another swing album, you must have thought yes, because that is a big part of your show, isn't it?
Yeah, I was really, really excited about it, but as soon as I saw the track listing, I could not believe it. I was like, it wasn't what I expected. I expected the
more Frank Sinatra, more
Frank Sinatra, all that kind of thing. And then when I saw Little Green Apples there, I thought, well, that's a real strange choice for this. And then when I heard it, I thought it was absolutely fantastic. I was really impressed with it. I think I messaged you, didn't I, Mel, and said,
you did, yeah.
I'm really impressed with what I've heard off the album. It's different. It's really different.
And the show tunes on there as well.
Everything is just so. I mean, the standout song for me on the album is "If I Only Had a Brain." It's an absolutely. I think he's done a brilliant job. He sounds really sincere on the song. You know what I mean? And I like that on the Palladium gig as well. When he did that, I thought that was a real nice touch. But there's some great songs on, and there's some great fun songs on there as well, like with the Soda Pop and the "Wanna Be Like You" thing. So. I'm looking forward to. I've got a bit of an idea of a new his show as well as what I normally do. A complete swing show for next year. So that's I'm busy learning the stuff on that now, to be honest with you. So
Pete will be able to tell us, because everyone knows that Pete listens to the greats, the Dean Martins, the Frank Sinatra and everything, and obviously that's where Rob gets it from. But what about the songs that are on this album? Things like The Jungle Book, Wizard of Oz.
To be quite honest, we talked about this in LA. We talked about it when we were in touch with each other, suggested songs. The King of the Swingers was Mel's idea originally, and she said she mentioned it to me. Then I mentioned it to him. So I can't. Although he thinks it was one of my ideas, it wasn't.
Yeah, I'm not getting royalties, by the way. Just so you know.
The original idea for King of the Swingers. That I sent him a list. This is how it all happened. I sent him a list. He said, "Send me a list of things that you can think about that I probably might not even know." So we sat together and we talked about all sorts of songs that I suggested, and he put the line through a number of them. And it was Mel that said to me, King of the Swingers, and he said, "Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's a great idea. I'm having that, and I'm having Little Green Apples, and I'm having all sorts of things. Little things that I thought would be applicable to a new album." Yeah. And I sent him a long list, so I got it somewhere.
Now, The Jungle Book was the first film I ever saw at the cinema as a child, and actually it's the only Disney film that Pete's ever watched. Disney animated film. Now, I'm a great lover of Disney animated films. Give me anyone and I'll watch them 110 times. And I've been trying to get Pete to watch them, some of those, but the only one he'll watch is Jungle Book. So that's why we put the song forward.
I want to be Blue the Bear. That's me. That was written for me. I don't know that.
Bare necessities.
Phil Harris did that.
The first swing album, of course, Frank Sinatra's on there, Dean Martin, like we said, and the songs that he picked on there. It was always going to be difficult to do another album unless you did probably lesser known songs from these people or whatever.
There were so many. I mean, Michael he did that album. There's so many of that era that you could do another 3 or 4 albums. To be quite honest, you could pick them from Sammy and Dean and Frank and Andy Williams and people of that era. And many more. I mean, there's Jack Jones who did things, and he could go on forever, really. Yeah. And Tony Bennett, and so many. He could go on forever. But this is quite a mishmash of things of his own, things that I didn't imagine would be on the album. But it's a very interesting album.
It is. What Mike said, he was surprised by the track listing. I think everyone really was. I think that was the great thing about it when it was first, because people saw the track listing before they'd heard a lot of it, and then there was a couple of vocal clips put up on YouTube, I think, of a couple of the songs. And I think I Want to Be Like You was one of the first ones I heard, actually.
I tell you what was a real big surprise on there, because you don't know until you get the deluxe version. 16 tons.
Yes.
What a big thing. I was aiming forward. And I was, but you see, my problem being is I can't do that song because every time I hear 16 tons, I hear Tennessee Ernie Ford.
Yeah, you will.
And that's how I sing it.
That's right.
And it's like,
he picked that one. I don't know where he got that one from, but he must have heard it somewhere and enjoyed it.
There's a song with Johnny, of course. He's on there as well.
Yeah. That's... yeah.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I did like the concept. When I first saw it, I thought, is it going to be another... sorry?
Mel said to me, Johnny, which one was
Jonathan
that?
Wilkes.
Which one? Yeah, which song was that?
What's it called?
I was looking a bit.
Yeah, it's
on the previous Swing album.
No. There's a song
on the new one.
It was Me and My Shadow.
No. There's
the old one.
There's a new song. Oh, I'll have to have a think about that now. It's gone. It's
just totally my memory's bad as well. So
yeah, it's on the single that's coming out now for Christmas. It's another track on there.
Is it a B-side? Is it? Oh, I know. Yeah. Yes.
It's not on the album.
It's not on the album. No.
I think
I know which one you mean.
Yeah.
We've got old.
Lost me.
Yes, we've got old.
That's the one. That's the one. Yes, it's a B-side, isn't it?
We've all got old, clearly, because we can't remember.
We can't remember. I hate it when I say something on air and then I've got to commit to it, and we've got to go until we find out what it is.
No, I don't know.
When you said that, three faces looked at you and went,
what? Thanks for that, guys. You all knew, really. You secretly knew. You just want to put me on the
just winding you up.
Yeah, there's no show after me. I would have stayed here. And when we've got people texting in, probably it's just something I've made up. That's happened before, Mike. I made something up and I've been that committed to it, and I was like, "What are you on about, mate?"
Yeah. I get it all the time. I'll say something on. I'll say, "Has anybody got a favourite Robbie song? Please tell me." And somebody will shout something out, and it'll be nothing. It won't be a Robbie song. It'll be nothing. And instead of letting it, I'm one of these people, instead of letting it go because they've made a mistake, I'll actually say, what was that?
Yeah.
Sorry, which one's that? Which one's that? And they go, no, because they don't really want to say it again because they've realised that they've made a mistake. But it's all in fun. It's all about having fun. But I can't help it.
Yeah. Well, going back to the swing album, of course, another thing that listeners won't know is your new hairdo as well.
Oh, it was purple the other day.
Yeah,
it had a hint of purple the other day. It was so funny because to get your hair with like a grey streak, unless unless it's just going to go grey in one place, obviously, you can't dye it grey. You can't. You have to bleach it, strip all the colour out. I'm sounding like a right girl now.
I'm actually the lucky person who actually got a grey stripe through the middle of my
head. And
head.
then you have to put ash blonde on it because that takes all the yellow out, and then you got to use a touch of silver shampoo. I'm just looking at my wife when I say this because she's a touch of silver shampoo. But if you leave it on a bit too long, it can get a purple tinge. So I looked like Cruella de Vil a little bit. It was quite funny, wasn't it? So we had to rebleach it all over again. And now little bits of my fringe are falling off, snapped off.
All in the
name of.
Yeah, I remember a couple of years ago. I can't remember what it was. It might have been in a book or it might have been something from an interview that Robbie did, and he said that he'd always dyed his hair, and I was shocked. I always thought he had like really dark brown hair.
Did he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, he said he dyed his hair.
Oh, well, I know he does now. He's grey.
Yeah,
he's grey. He's got a lot of grey in now.
No, what I'm saying is like when through the years he dyed his hair.
Well, he was
darker.
blonde at one time, wasn't he?
Yeah.
He was blonde when he was going to take that towards the end.
Yeah, he bleached it. Yeah, he was.
Yeah.
So
he's probably had different colours, hasn't he, over the years, I suppose.
Yeah. But now, of course, the grey's coming through, and that's actually dyed at the front. To take it.
Yeah.
Yes. That just appeared overnight.
It did.
A bit of worry over this new album.
A bit George Clooney.
Yeah. It's very grown up.
Yes.
Very grown up.
Very.
Yeah. But that'll be coming. As soon as he gets 40, it'll all be great.
Yeah, I got all that to come in about 8 years' time as well. When I hit 40.
Great time.
So, when you're performing, do you have a favourite song or a favourite album that you like to do songs off, or is it just one of them labours of love? All of them.
I like to ask. I'll say anyone got a favourite song. If I don't know it, I won't do it. Or if it's too obscure, obviously, unless you got like a room full, obviously, of mad, Robbie fans, you can't. You got to stick to the She's the One, Strong, Come Undone, all them kind of things. But now and again, somebody's always there to catch you out, always. And I'm usually like, as it happens, I'll do this one for you, and then I'll apologise to the rest of the people who don't know it, because it's something obscure.
Can you sing Left to My Own Devices? That's one of my favourite Robbie songs.
Do you know what? You've totally got me. I didn't even know what you were on about then.
Yeah, he's done a lot of cover versions, but that's a Pet Shop Boys song, isn't it? Yeah.
Somebody normally asks for freedom if they want to, because it's something that, that kind of thing. I don't go down that road. You've got to try and keep it, as you don't
hear that song very much because I think he brought it out just to bring a song out, didn't he, at the time?
I don't know. I really wouldn't know about that, but
it's
a usual. But it was really good because when I did have the pleasure of speaking to him, quite a bit last year online, and telling him what I do. It's very strange because he'd say like, so what you do, bud? What you do in your sets? So I was telling him and this and that, and I said, and I was actually saying to him, listen, mate, you need to pick up that guitar again because it's good because I play a bit of guitar and then it gives me a chance to bring that into my show so I can think, yeah. And then I was really pleased when I was like, wow, he's picked up the guitar again. And Me and My Monkey, he threw it out there as well because he said the fans obviously, what do you want me to reintroduce? And they were like, oh, Me and My Monkey because that's one of the fans' favourites. Yeah. So I suppose something like I like doing that song because there's a bit of an acting goes on with that. You act the song out. It's not just it's a good story. It's a good story. So maybe that's in my normal show. That's probably one of my favourites. I would probably pick.
Will you be doing Me and My Monkey at RW Fanfest?
Well, at the Fanfest, I'm strict on my 1 hour performances, but I've looking at all the things that I'm very excited about this show, to be honest with you. Performing on this on the Saturday night because it's going to be a chance to be in a room full of Robbie Williams fans, and obviously being a Robbie Williams tribute, what better audience to play to?
Can't we put that out to some of them for pick songs?
No.
Mark could be singing for 4 hours, I think.
No, it won't be an hour show. I actually said it'll be closer to a 2-hour show. There you are. Look, I'm putting myself up for there now because I want to do a swing section as well. And my favourite music that Robbie does is the swing. I think obviously I've got favourites of his pop stuff as well, but the swing for me I think that's where he's at his absolute
Mike, have you
best.
done that twice?
I haven't got a clue. I'm very familiar with the song.
The one that I did with him?
Yes, I'm very familiar with the song.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, shall we put that one in?
Yeah, I think that's a great idea.
I haven't asked you before. There.
I think we'll have a bit of fun.
It's on air. It's a commitment.
But I have to learn the little up and over and out bit, don't I?
Yeah.
Yes, the little dance routine.
Yes, of course.
Yeah. Well, you heard it here first.
We'll
Mike Andrew's going to be joined by
do that then.
By Pete Conway.
Sounds great. That sounds fantastic.
I've done it a few times, as you can imagine.
I love how that little routine. It's also in the Strong video, isn't it? When he says
yes.
Started to look like my dad.
When I'm drunk and dance like my dad.
Yeah.
Well, the funny thing is he looked at me when he said that, and I was wondering, was he trying to say you look like me dad, Mike, or dress like me dad? Because we dress the same. So I was like, cheers, mate. That was a funny moment.
So what about outfits as well, Mike? Obviously, you see what Robbie's wearing, you think,
I have a room.
Recreate that.
Seriously, I have a room full of Robbie outfits, which I now don't wear, obviously, because at the moment it's sparkly black tails and gold, very Elvis box jacket like that, wasn't it? So they're the two outfits I wear right now. I've just got my tails, I've just got the white lining put in for the new swing show, but now and again I'll go back to one of the old outfits and I'll say, oh yeah, I fancy wearing that one tonight, because I really have got every single, only the tour outfits. I've not gone and bought the outfits like what he wore in the videos and things like that.
Let me entertain you video.
As if me in a Leo, a thingy vest thing. No, I don't think so.
Yeah, but the stage wear. Yeah.
Yes. I've lots and lots of outfits. Keeping up with it obviously can become quite expensive. Especially when he decides to wear Christian Louboutin shoes. Is it Christian Louboutin it's called?
Yeah.
Christian Louboutin shoes. Oh. Yes. Well,
they're not off the shelf from Primark.
No.
That's what I thought.
Yours
I thought that would be my one question if we got you in here about the outfits. How do you?
Yeah, but you have to be authentic. I mean, people sometimes pay a lot of money to see a tribute because they have like a 3-course meal, then the tribute comes on, and the last thing they want to do is see a tribute, I suppose. And I don't know if anybody is like this. I'm just saying, my own personal thing. That's not really made the effort with the outfits, because
just wearing a veil top or something like that.
I've
seen them before.
I haven't, but I'm just saying, part of my show, it's mega important to have the outfits right, and I mean as right as I can possibly get them. Maybe considered sad by some, but it's it's my career. So
I've seen your sparkly shoes. I've seen them online.
When we studied shoes, my Louboutins.
Yeah.
My official Louboutins, proper ones. Paid a lot of money for them.
Yeah, that was a few gigs you had to do to pay for them.
I'll tell you the site later where you get them from.
6 Towns Radio.
It is 6 Towns Radio. We're here for the last 10 minutes of the show. We've got Mel, we've got Pete, and we've got Mike in the studio today because we brought them down to talk about the Robbie Williams Fanfest. We've talked about a lot of other things in between, but we want to get back to the main subject. It's on his birthday is on the 13th of Feb. What are the dates of the actual event?
The dates of RW Fanfest are the weekend of the 7th to the 9th of February.
Okay, and we've talked about a few things, but we want to know more. We want to know more.
There's so much going on. We've spoken about the Big Birthday Bash, featuring Mike Andrew at Port Vale. We've spoken about I've Been Expecting You, which is the art exhibition happening at Burslem School of Art for the whole month of February. What we haven't spoken about is another exhibition, which we're very proud to announce is actually going to be housed in the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery, and that's going to be for the whole month of February and maybe through to the end of March. And that's Portrait of a Potteries Pop Star. And we're doing that in partnership with Martin Tidswell at the Sentinel and with the Potteries Museum and Art Gallery. And it's going to really be an exhibition documenting Robbie's rise to pop stardom, really, from, the lad from Burslem to, living in Beverly Hills and being this massive pop star. But the really interesting part of this exhibition, and actually something that's never before seen and is very unique, is that Pete's going to actually be loaning some of his personal memorabilia of Rob's that nobody's ever seen before, and that's going to be on display at Portrait of a Potteries Pop Star for RW Fanfest, raising money for the hospice.
Are we still going to do the question and answer, me and Pete?
Question and answer? I think that would be a really good idea.
Yeah, I think that'd be fantastic.
We'll get Pete on a couch and you can ask him some questions.
By all means, yeah.
I think that'd be really fun.
Yeah.
That'll be a fun element.
Yeah, it really would.
Yeah.
So, tickets. How do people get tickets for the Robbie Williams Fanfest?
Right, you can go on the Donna Louise Children's Hospice website, or you can go onto Six Towns Radio website, and there's a link through to an online ticket site. If you're having problems on the online ticket site, which I don't think you will, you can get in touch with the hospice on 01782 65 4444, and one of the lovely fundraisers will help you.
Definitely, yeah. So much going on, and tickets are selling quite well as well. So
they're selling very well, actually. We sold over 100 tickets within an hour yesterday, but there are still tickets available. There are about 140 tickets still available. Last time I checked a couple of hours ago, but do get in quickly because they have been selling very fast. And actually, there's going to be a whole load of other activities taking place in and around Burslem. We are in contact with local businesses and groups here in Burslem who are going to be putting on their own fundraising activities over that weekend and also during the month of February. So there's going to be a lot going on over and above the three events that I've spoken about. But I think the most important thing really is that we all pull together and raise as much money as we can for the Donna Louise Children's Hospice. Yeah,
definitely. So, go over to our website if you're not already on it, because some people might be on it already, and buy those tickets. Mike, your performance is what day is Mike on?
Mike is on the Saturday night, Saturday the 8th of February, and doors open at 8 p.m.
Can people just go to that, or do they have to buy a ticket for the whole thing?
No, they can just go to that, because actually that is, at the moment, that's the only ticket that people are having to spend money on. The other two exhibitions are both free of charge. Entry is free of charge, but we will be asking people to please make a donation on the door just to support the hospice. But it's also worth mentioning that at Mike's gig, and in fact throughout that weekend, there'll be opportunities for people to get their hands on some exclusive Robbie merchandise memorabilia.
Oh yeah, I nearly forgot about that.
Yeah, there'll be lots of raffles and auctions taking place over that weekend. And in fact, the artist Gabby has also donated one of her paintings that will be exhibited, so that's going to be going on auction. So there's loads and loads of stuff. Yeah,
there's a few things.
It sounds great. I'm glad we are a part of it, and I know Peter's got some great things that I've seen myself. Are you going to divulge anything?
I've got some amazing things, haven't I, really? I don't know what the museum are going to have yet. We're going to talk to Martin Tideswell from the Sentinel.
And you've got a lot of cuttings as well, not just actual physical items. You've got cuttings of stuff from day one, haven't you?
I have. And I've got Brit Awards and awards that he's had, and a very certain Ivan Novello Award.
Oh, yes.
Which was a very special song.
I know. I've told the story a million times. I once went around Pete's and I had to just have a quick touch. You just have to, you know what I mean? Never touched the Brit Award.
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned the Brit Award. I wondered, yes, that's taken out of context. If anybody just tuned in, we might all be in serious trouble.
Yeah, I was touching his Brit Award.
That's how it all started, Mel.
Yeah, it ended on a high anyway. Well, thank you very much for coming down today, Mike. We look forward to that. You know,
cheers, thank you.
We couldn't have got you on to sing today, but that's a whole show on itself. That is. Mel, thank you very much. Please do donate to the Donna Louise. Get your fundraising in there right now, and come along to the FanFest. And Pete, always a pleasure, mate.
Always a pleasure to see you, bud.
We'll do it again soon, but we're going to end with "I Want to Be Like You" from Swings Both Ways. Again, thank you very much, and goodbye.